All right. I'm Jordan Giesler. I'm a commercial art major, and I've been here for 4 years. I guess you can assume that by now. But one thing I want to tell you is I came into the art department not really knowing. I knew I loved to draw. I knew I loved that. And I ended up probably needing to go to the GIT department. But I had a lot of fun going along the way, so I just want to tell you what I love is I love advertising. I love looking in magazines. I love going in a store, seeing what everything there is to see in a store. I just find it so enthralling. It's the best. So I want to tell you about that. Advertising is everywhere. Anywhere you look, we recently had the Super Bowl. It was the Super Bowl of advertising, really. It was fantastic. We recently had the Oscars. Did you see those commercials? They're great. Oscar commercials is like, the second Super Bowl now. But one thing, I even recently saw an episode of Futurama. I don't know if you're familiar, but in Futurama, there's a guy named Fry who's from the year 2000 who lives in the year 3000. And he wakes up after a night of sleep, and he's like, oh my gosh, I have this huge hankering for this Slurm energy drink. What's going on? And they tell him that in the future you can get advertised to in your dreams. So that's just a little example of like how it's just everywhere now. You can't really get away from it. Hopefully in the future it doesn't go that way, but just a little bit to know. Something that you need to know is about advertising is brand and identity. They are two separate things. What do you think of when you see Nike? Shoes? That's all you think. Okay, I'm talking about the brand, but yes, that's what it's based off of. Nike is an idea. A brand is an idea. It's a whole encompassing idea from the shoes to the clothing. It's all central upon how they portray an identity. It's just do it. It's an idea. What do you think of? And an identity is what you see. It's the visual aspects of what you see, and that's what I like to make. So I like to create that brand, that identity. So that's just an idea of what to start with. To identify an identity, there are three specific things that you're going to be seeing. That's the logo, Shell, which if you've ever seen the original logo for Shell, it's insane. There's way too much information. It's just something to Google. There's the package design, and there's the print advertisements. But there's plenty more. There's going to be the web advertisements, web design, all these other sorts of things, stationery. But three of the big ones that I like to do is logo, package design, and print design. And something I like to think of when I do it, because since I am creating an identity, it's like having a baby. You name your baby, you clothe your baby. That creates its own identity. You have a boy or a girl, you put pink or blue on it. It's something to think of that I do when I'm trying to create something. Now, logo design is one of the three parts that I want to talk to you today about, and it identifies a business in its most simplest form. If you look here, there's Starbucks, and back over there is Starbucks' first logo. And here's where it is now. Now it's come a long way. Why has it come a long way? Why is it better? 5 key things in creating a logo is it needs to be simple. It needs to be memorable. It needs to be timeless, versatile, and appropriate. Now, it's quite simple, isn't it? It's versatile. It's gone through many different phases. You see it everywhere. It's like an icon now. It's timeless. It's lasted for a long time. An example of a more timeless logo actually is Coca-Cola. It's since like 1885. It hasn't changed. Compare that to Pepsi. It's changed 1,000 times. Just something to look into. What's that? I don't like either, but that's another story. But yeah, it needs to be simple, memorable, timeless, versatile, and appropriate. appropriate for what audience is what I'm trying to say there. This is an example of a work that I did recently. There's a website called 99 Designs, and it's a place where designers can go and enter these contests against other designers for companies. And they said, okay, we need a logo. We're a wedding car company. We rent out wedding cars to weddings so they can take pictures. And the one thing that they wanted to see was luxury. Now, luxury is simple. Have you ever seen like Mercedes ads? They aren't John stuff. It's not all in your face, all that technical stuff. It's very simple. So I knew luxury. So why would I choose the color purple? Purple's the color of luxury. I kept it simple. It's memorable. It's easy. It can go on anything that they use. Now, I didn't win this contest, but I did get runner-up, so I almost won $400. So, pretty big pat on the back for that one. One thing that I did want to see was a 1970s Dodge Charger, and I was just like, okay, that's not exactly what... You'll get random requests from companies, and you're just going to have to make it work. So, did I make it work? The next one that I want to show you is the Joe. I didn't get asked to do this. This is a project I did of my own, but it's a public transportation company in Johnson County, Kansas. Bus routes. They have like 20 different bus routes. It's insane. But their logo right now is just a blue block with the Joe and some certain font in it. So I wanted to change it. I want to give them a facelift, if you will. I did keep it simple. I didn't explain what it did with the logo. The logo is not public transportation. It's the bridge and the Joe. But why would I choose this color palette? Think of the idea of a public transportation. Would you like to go on public transportation? What does it smell like in a bus? You know, these are very soft colors. They're soft Easter colors, so it gives you like, oh, it's not going to be so bad. You know, it's just like, oh, pretty little bus. You know, so that's why I chose this. So you may look at things, you may not realize why they are the way they are, but these are the kind of things that I like to think about. It's simple. It's transferable. I could, in fact, because I did a whole rebrand on the little swipey cards for the bus, I could cut the logo in half, and it actually worked to my advantage. So that makes it even more versatile, more interesting. The next thing, this is another thing I did for 99 Designs. I was a runner-up as well. It's for, I know, I can't place, but it's for Upstate New York Beverage Alliance. And the cool thing about 99 Designs is you can see everything that everybody else is doing. Now that can be bad at the same time, but everybody else did circles with U and Y inside of it and maybe a couple of beer bottles. And I was just like, that's boring. So I thought, upstate New York, I did some Googling, did some research. Upstate New York, it's not Manhattan, it's not Times Square, it's the upstate near Maine, so that's why I chose that icon. And they ended up coming back to me and they said, that's very creative, we like it, but they didn't like it that much. They did like the normal circle, U and Y inside of it. But anyway, the next thing I want to talk to you about is package design. I really, really love the overdone, intricate work. Like this, you can tell someone put a lot of time into this. This is done by Moxie Sozo. It's a company out of Boulder, Colorado, and in fact, they do the beer cases for Left Hand Brewery. If you've ever seen them, they're awesome. I go into a liquor store and I'll buy it just because of their packaging. It's amazing. One thing that's really cool about package design is you can go either really, really well done, really, really done up. You're going to see a bunch of colors because it'll pop right off a shelf. You'll see it. Or you can do a minimalist approach, which is a complete lack of color. And one of the coolest minimalist package designs I've seen is this one right here. Isn't that cool? You know, think of, you're in need. You need a Band-Aid. You have a headache. You're going to need the package to be simple, you know? You don't want to be like, oh, is this for sinus relief? Is this really a head cold relief? You don't really know. But with this, it really simplifies everything. I really think Steve Jobs would approve here. He really loves simplistic stuff, if you don't know. But it's memorable. It's versatile. It's portable. It's great. It's design and work. It's fantastic. I love it. But as you can see, I'm not as simple as some other people. And this is one of the first things that I did. For those of you who don't know, I brew my own beer. And I created this for a beer label to go around it. And I wanted it to have a little attitude. It's a honey beer. And so I, made a nice little illustration of a bear.